Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys. It's 9-ish on the west or on the East Coast, and that means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk. I'm your host here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Chris Callen with Cycle Source Magazine. I'm joined by my brother from another mother, Ken Frank Zappa Conti.
What's up?
What's up, Ken? We're coming to you live tonight from the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio. Shop Talk every Thursday, 9 p.m., or at least as close as we can get to it. And we're ready for another 90 to 120 minutes of all the bullshit we can fit. Here we go.
And how crazy is it at the headquarters? Come on. Be honest. How many people do you have working right now behind the scenes?
Like 7. No shit. And they all came on today, right? I mean, because it was just us, and we were like, yeah, we're never coming to Laconia. It's never gonna happen. And now we're 1 day away, and it looks
called in the cavalry.
Yeah.
Where'd you learn to count?
What do you mean?
Where do you get 7?
Here we go again.
Big fish.
Here we go again. My wife.
Big fish. Just saying.
You guys know my wife, don't you? My wife.
There's two people. There's two people there.
The lovely Heather Callen, who will be from time to time throughout the show, bringing all your questions, comments, concerns from social media. Heather.
Hiya.
Hiya.
I'm sharing. Oh,
what do you got?
It's just complete, utter chaos, and it's kind of ridiculous around here lately. But it's awesome. We're heading to Laconia on Saturday. Can't wait to get there. We got some cool stuff going on. I'm super excited.
So listen, right off the bat from social media, I got to say what's up to Jeff Quilty. Like for the 4th week in a row, he's the first person on. I think this is my friend from back in the day, Roy Miller. If that's the Roy who lived in the same trailer park as me for a time, please let me know. If it is, dude, I was so sad to hear about Margie. My heart goes out to you, brother. I wish I was obviously on the road when I heard about it, but man, I feel it breaks my heart. I can't even tell you. So you guys can see off to my left right now, the social media chat stream is up and running. We ask you here from Shop Talk not just to be another effing observer, actually get in on the conversation. Participation is where it's at, man, and do the share thing. Press the little button, share us on your feed so that your friends know you're digging on Shop Talk.
People are on it tonight. We already have 30 shares.
Yeah.
You guys get an A+ for the day.
See, isn't that nice? Miss Heather just
Not
gave
you, them.
Oh, I'm saying them.
Okay.
So yeah, what we're talking about being batshit crazy is here we come to Laconia. I can't believe it's already time, but we're going to be rocking it out at the Roadhouse all week for Laconia. Our custom bike show on Thursday. We have old time bike games, actually 2 different days, Wednesday and Friday. And dude, a drum roll, please.
I'm bad I have no rhythm. Wait a minute.
Okay, what happened? That was like
there it is.
Air.
Mini bike drag racing. Can wait a minute. I have to actually play the video because you're not going to understand what I'm saying about how epic this is until you see we have our own Christmas tree, dude. A national event size Christmas tree. Dig this.
Cycle Source. We're getting ready to practice for mini bike racing at the Roadhouse in Laconia. Bring your mini bike.
Dude, we have our own Christmas
Just
tree.
for the record, that was 2 grown-ass men in our garage with the Christmas tree today. Amidst all of this chaos, 5,332 things going on.
Are you kidding me? UPS dropped that
tree.
thing off, and in 10 minutes we were drag racing, Ken. In 10 minutes flat, we had it out of the box, all the lights put in it. Right, man, right.
Should be.
So it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be awesome. Real
I
quick.
can't believe I'm gonna miss it.
I know.
When
Ken,
when are the
wah.
mini bike drag races?
Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, Kevin Michael B.
Yeah.
Little Debbie snack guy.
Tell the story. You gotta fess up because this is the most awesome thing. In 22 years of Cycle Source Magazine, we've gotten so many great accolades over the internet and communications through email. This is probably
He took the time to reach out today and says how much he likes the show, and of course he likes catching it live better, but when he has to get up at 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning, he'll listen to it on his Little Debbie snack route. So I said, I hope we meet him on the road, and he better bring the snacks. He said he would bring Debbie. Who doesn't like Little Debbie snack cakes?
Listen, I'm on Little Debbie restriction. Like
Oh, please. If he delivered you Little Debbie snacks, you'd say no?
I'd have a bellyache and I'd be fat tomorrow. And I'd eat the ass out of that truck. So what's up in Colorado? What's going on out there?
It's total. I mean, it's not the same sort of anarchy, but it's pretty crazy. For those people that follow me on social media, you might know that I went to Billie Eilish last night.
Who is that?
Red Rocks
Right.
with my daughter.
Oh.
She's the #1 selling artist in the U.S. right now. She's an
Who's
angsty
that?
she's an angsty 17-year-old who puts on a hell of a show. So I took my daughter and 2 of her friends to Red Rocks. I sat in the
That's
rain and
awesome.
saved their seats for, I don't know, over an hour. And just got
You get
soaked.
Dad of the
Dude,
year
right,
for
right?
that. I'd be
Date
like,
night with
While
Daddy.
they were off getting their merch, they all got matching sweatshirts. I should probably just send you the picture so you can put it up because it's pretty cute.
they were cute, like all like fluorescent yellow, right?
Oh yeah,
It was
yeah.
cute.
It was pretty fun. So yeah, we had a blast last night, and I'm not good at staying up like that, man.
You old,
I'm an old
bastard.
man. I'm
All
an
right.
old man.
So before
But
we
no,
get
it's good.
too much further,
Different Roy Miller. Go
I
ahead.
have a few hearts and that we have to break because they're asking,
Go
and
ahead.
it's about Laconia, and it's about the drag races. So, we did everything along with the Roadhouse within our power to do big boy drag races,
Dirt drags, hillbilly
dirt
style.
drags, hillbilly style.
Yeah.
However, it's going to take a little more prompting next
The
year
city
for the city
was
to
just
allow
not
us to
down
do
with
it.
Yeah, they just weren't down with it.
Brian
So-
Nichols is already saying no.
And we're still like, just so you know, we're still going to bat for all of this. I'm trying my hardest to make this happen. I am confident we can make it happen next year.
But listen, man, like seriously, this is our commitment level for it. No shit, and I'm not going to make light of this, and I'm not saying this to be braggadocious, but we spent $1,000 on the Christmas tree so that we had a legitimate Christmas tree to do these dirt drags, and it's just coming down to time. So we're going to do it as soon as we can, and with as much vigor as we promised you guys. And I mean, the people at the Roadhouse are totally down for it and everything. So this year, it's going to be, it's going to be mini bike drag races, man. And like, here's the deal with that. If you guys haven't read the ad or you haven't heard me talk about this, not only are we doing mini bike drags that anybody brings a mini bike can join in on the fun, but we're actually going to have four of our own mini bikes there. And if you have not brought your own mini bike, we're going to let you ride ours for a simple $50 donation to the Children's Hospital charity.
Yes,
that
Chad.
the Roadhouse
Yep,
the Roadhouse
for the
supports.
Chad ride. So, and
Cool.
100% of any money donated. And I'm sorry if it's less than $50, I'm not going to turn it down, and I'm going to let them run.
Yeah.
I'm going to take what y'all give, but it goes to the kids. 100% of it.
Like
So-
Teach says, it's for
Ooh,
the kids.
Can I ride Elijah's electric dirt bike?
I guess we could do one race where I'll sit backwards on a mini bike and. Oh my God, Eric Christensen is a genius.
Oh
What?
my! He's not.
Yes, he is. So back in the day, we would have done something like chugging a gallon of Jack Daniels for the Christmas tree. Eric Christensen from Spectra Oils said Little Debbie snack cake eating contest with the Christmas tree. That's awesome. Brian, listen, I know Brian's saying that, him and Petoniak have been looking forward to this for a year. We are going to feature both motorcycles because I understand you guys both built motorcycles. So we're going to feature those bikes, and I'm going to do everything I can. If at the last minute we can possibly pull off those dirt drags, if it's only you two guys and me on the backwards mini bike and Heather on the little electric dirt bike, then we're in.
I don't have to see them. Like, I could have my back turned when they.
They're going to be mad at you.
What? No, I could have my back turned when they make their run on their drag bike.
Right.
Well, you can't say it on the air. There's people watching and listening.
Have you been to
Heather.
Laconia? They're really, and
listen,
I'm from there. I can say that they're
We're-
really
Yeah.
not too on top of things.
We're running a little behind. We're actually supposed to have our first guest on already, but I want to start off the show real quick by going to the first news. Like we mention every week, a lot of stuff that we do here, talk, obviously we do a lot of talking, but we usually try to start the show off before our first guest with a little thing we call the news. First up in the news, and I'm hoping this isn't going to get us listed on Facebook for inappropriate and whatever Lucidious media, but man, this in from City Bike and all across social media this week, there's been an uprising about MV Agusta's new ad. Just going to play a little piece of it here and see where we can get to that's not entirely racy, but the Europeans have a completely different standard whenever it comes to media, obviously. But the new MV Agusta ad is spurring some heavy controversy throughout the motorcycle industry, obviously because of the naked woman draped all over the motorcycle, and that's probably as far as we're going to go with that. But I will say she goes on to gesticulate madly on that motorcycle. And Ken, you have the floor. Go ahead, because I got a lot to say.
I mean, it's weird. I'm unclear as to what it is that they're. So the bike is sexy. Is that what you hump the bike? You get laid by the bike lays you. I'm confused.
You know what I want to say?
There's yellow lights going through her legs, which kind of is reminiscent of urination. It's just weird.
Wow.
It's
you just took that to a really dark place.
But it is. If you played the whole video, which I know you've seen,
here's what I'm going to say.
Watched it, you would be like, why is there a yellow light between her legs?
Can I post a link to it in our comments? I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
It's gonna get a lot of watches after we're talking about it.
Here's
a lot of bare asses.
Here's what I'm going to say. Now get this. Get ready for this, because Cycle Source Magazine, and I'll say this right up front, we've gone to great lengths, 12, 15 years ago. We took women off the cover of our motorcycle. We don't do anything vulgar or inappropriate, as far as sexuality or misogynistic overtones go in the magazine. But I will remind everyone that when you want to preach tolerance, when you want to talk about including everybody, freedom does not stop at your front door. Just think about that. And you can hate on me and send me some middle fingers and all that shit right now, but here's the deal. No, man, listen, because I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story real quick. I was in the middle of Myrtle Beach not long ago. We just did the event with Suck Bang Blow, and I caught myself for just a minute sitting there going, wow, man, this is a hell of a party, but there's really nothing to do so much but drink and raise hell. And then I thought about it, and I was like, there's a lot of people that come out to this stuff that, want to get away from their job, their boss, their mortgage payment, maybe their kids, like just regular life for a minute. And they don't necessarily want to sit in on a 6-hour symposium of the finer points of motorcycle and engineering. They just want to party and have a good time. And that reminded me that that's the roots of this shit. You know what I mean? And it was always a little on the fringe and a little vulgar and a little, rough edges and unruly, and I'm okay with that. And I think that as long as, and I'm also down for women having an expanding role in motorcycling and us having outreach to, different ethnic groups and everything else. And the fact that now you can ride an XS 650 into the middle of Harley guys and not get your ass beat. I'm down for all of that. But freedom does not stop at your own front door. If you're going to demand inclusion, if you're going to demand acceptance, then you also have to be inclusionary and acceptance in what you do. You can't have it both ways.
Wow. Soapbox done?
Oh, I'm sorry. It needs to be said.
And in this motorcycle climate, especially, and this is very different in the European countries than it is here in America. When you go to a motorcycle rally here, you cannot go to a bar and not see a girl in a thong and pasties.
Right.
And that's in a public place. You go to a motorcycle event, expo, whatever in Italy, and they are very well dressed, very well put together, beautiful women representing a product. It's not the same here.
Oh no.
No.
At the rallies, they're completely naked.
You know,
But here,
At the rallies in Europe, they are 100% not.
right?
not.
But they're
buck-
pretty. I
buck
mean,
ass
but
naked.
here in
But I know
what
what
I'm
you're talking
saying
about.
here in the U.S., like if you go into Suck Bang Blow, there was a girl who had a thong and literally bottle caps covering her nipples, and that was it.
God bless her heart.
Mm-hmm.
God bless her heart. And listen, I mean, here's another correlation that I'm going to make.
And she
Okay,
probably make good tips.
we have
Right, but and it's
we have-
okay.
we have
Mm-hmm.
homogenized and sanitized and neutralized motorcycling away from the bad guy era and the misogynistic overtones and like the rough and rowdy persona that came along with it. And at the same time, the sales have gone into the damn toilet. You know what I mean? Like we've in all of that, we've taken some of the fun and the edge off of it, and like
Yeah.
that's a drag, man. That's a
And
drag.
they don't all need to be like
No,
that.
they
They
don't.
don't.
And
It's, no,
by
and it's. I
means.
think there's something for everyone, but I also feel like there's, we do miss out a little bit on that edge,
Right.
right? I was just glad you didn't go into that REM song where they start talking about
That's me in the
I
corner.
mean, your typical
homogenize and
your typical
that was
motorcycle
it.
rally should not be a family-friendly event.
Well,
things
Agreed.
like Realities Ride, absolutely,
absolutely.
bring the whole family. But
Yeah.
if you're going to your like the world's oldest or the country's oldest motorcycle rally, that shouldn't be a family-friendly event. It just was not designed to be that way.
Well, and at least, yeah, I mean, I think people should be able to bring their kids, but not at night.
No.
I think there's like a time cutoff.
No, and I
like
mean,
I've never brought my kids to Sturgis or anywhere.
No, my kids were 16 before they were allowed, and I was in that business.
and not to quote Reese Witherspoon for philosophical needs, but oh look, you have a baby in a bar.
In a box.
In a box. Okay, so listen, man. Let's get to our first guest tonight. Hopefully
let's
he's not too mad that we're a few minutes late. I've known our first guest for quite a long time. I've looked up to him both as an intellectual and as a leader in the motorcycle industry. Finally, the Sturgis Motorcycle Hall of Fame and Museum has agreed with me on this, and this year he's going to be inducted to a place that he should rightfully have within it. Obviously, I'm talking about Dan Fitzmaurice from Zippers Performance. Danny's been a long-time racer, total gearhead, but the part that a lot of people might not know about him is that he is, as far as intellect goes, he's probably one of the smartest people I know in conversation, no matter if you want to talk tech or politics or, the general tone of the industry. So really looking forward to this. Let's see if we can get Dan on the phone.
Has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Strike one.
We've been stood up. It happens from time to time, even to the best of us. So
Yeah.
we'll shoot Dan a message here and get back to him in 1 second. But until then,
What do we got?
well, you have for our next up is the batshit crazy news. So
I
you
like
want
that
to
one.
you want to give a little lead in for this?
Now I need to find it. Oh, police searching for motorcycle operator that drove on the sidewalk. That's like an everyday occurrence. I don't know why they're searching for somebody. And he didn't even run over anybody, but the way that they describe it is just, it sounds like Mark was out for a spin in Pittsburgh, to be honest with you. Like it says, 8:30 in the morning. So he just got his coffee, right?
Or just got home?
Yeah, or just got home, right? He just chugged 20 ounces of coffee, and he's like, hey, let's see what this bike can do. And they saw the driver turn down a one-way, dead-end street before jumping off the bike, jumping a fence, and rolling down a wooded hillside.
Dude, that's awesome. That's white
Police
trash
pursued
Olympics.
Are you
but
sure it wasn't one of your
ultimately
friends?
Lost him. Except for, it says he's described as a male in his early 20s with short dreadlocks and a gap between his front teeth.
Which screams which screams.
Black and white shorts. So
Get
he had
this-
the prison short. Yeah, prison shorts on.
It screams,
that's
get this
good.
on my GoPro.
And dark pants. Wait a minute. He had shorts over his pants.
Of course he
And
did.
so-
It's summer in
and he-
Pittsburgh. What's wrong
and he
with
was
you?
And he was all muddy.
What's wrong with you?
Sounds like ICP was in town.
Okay, so listen, it's totally my fault that we didn't have Dan on that last call because he gave me a number that I didn't use. Hang on.
Chris?
Dan, what's up, man? You're live on Shop Talk.
All right. How about that?
How's it going? I'm sorry, I called the wrong number the first time.
That's all right. I've had a few people say on my regular phone they're having trouble hearing through my speaker, so
Yeah, this is nice and clear.
Uh-huh.
good.
Right on. So
How's things going today?
things are awesome, man. Things are awesome. We got our Porta-Tree national event size Christmas tree in UPS today, and we've already been racing with it. We've raced everything from chugging coffee to smoking cigarettes to just because, and it's great.
You just outed yourself to my mother.
Oh,
Oh, you're in such trouble, Chris.
It's the American way. Race at anything.
yes.
Belt Sanders, the motorcycles, anything under the sun.
Right.
That's right.
So listen, you are the news. You are the news. Hall of Fame, man. How cool is that? How does that feel?
Well, for me, it's all about the team. You know, when you go back to the beginning of the company, you know, of its origination, it was all about racing, which what fed it. It kind of fueled it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, racing is a team sport. Running a business is a team sport.
Absolutely.
And teams bring greater ideas to the surface, and you know it's great from a relative of providing product development to providing the service or making the part or you know helping somebody in how to use it or applicate it. So to me, it just brought all that back. You know, although it's been 23 years or so since you know going down a racetrack. It still brings everything back to the team.
Well, and it doesn't surprise me at all that you would share these accolades with everyone involved. But you know, I want to talk about that for a minute. You said 23 years ago from going down the track. Talk a little bit about how Zippers started and like explain to people because you know being on the outside of the industry today, you look at companies like Zippers and S&S and you know all these big companies and you think that it's so far away, but you know, you guys were like, come up with a part, take it to the track, run the hell out of it.
Well, we were a very simple story with a very simple mission, and we had no resources, but we had passion. We wanted to improve the performance of Harley engines, and you know, when back in 1979, 78, 79, when we were doing some of that. I mean, there were a few people that would snicker at you because it was a tough time back then. Tough time in the economy and you know back then it was double-digit inflation, double-digit unemployment, and double-digit interest rates. But that passion was so strong, and we were willing to work so hard to just scratch and dig and find ways to do it. And we did have access to good companies back then. Yeah, S&S was there, and Andrews, and Sifton, and you know other companies along the way, and it just manifested itself over time because there were people that were hungry for what we were doing.
Right on.
So how has it changed over the years? This is Ken, by the way, Chris's co-host, and I'm wondering how it's changed over the years. You know, it seems like the industry right now is really kind of thriving on that performance side. Is that what you're seeing as well?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, it's like we were country when country wasn't cool. You know, I mean, it's that kind of and we watched that, and also encouraged other people that were in the industry, some competitors and friends and stuff, to do that. And again, I go back to racing. What was driving that? We weren't the beginners of motorcycle drag racing. We were part of the renaissance of it coming back again. Because the guys that did it in the 50s and the 60s and 70s, those were the pioneers that did incredible stuff. Lots of double engine bikes. You guys in the industry still, like Jim Preisler from Chrome Works. Dan Baisley built a double that he raced in gas classes back in the day. But so much of it was trying to improve the Harley product, and I think that's what just kept it going. But today it is a lot different in the respect that now there's engineers working in the company, and they're applying better processes to develop products, and you do the things that you would do to make good products, and we try to make everything we can domestically because we believe in that. We believe in the American worker and the American way, and we think we can do things better that way. But there are other companies that make things overseas or make some products overseas. But in the end, the principles are still all the same. I believe everybody's trying to make good products, and but yet it is very different from our primitive days.
Well, now you just mentioned the time where you guys were coming into it strong was actually the renaissance of drag racing coming back around. Well, here we stand on what I think is the precipice of that happening another time. In the news lately has been, AFT and the hooligan racing and, all this different stuff. But, when it comes down to guys like especially country boys from Pennsylvania like me who grew up doing dirt drags and, working their way up to asphalt tracks. And, I know guys like Jim Libonetti from Megaflow, who his standard quote was, I'd be like, Jim, flat tracks are going to be right up in Ohio. You want to go? Nah. I'm more like, what do you mean? He's like, look, Chris, real men drag race. But it seems like we have another time where drag racing is starting to take hold again.
For sure. I was thinking about this a few weeks ago when you think about, how tough it was in the economy back in the late 70s when, things were just literally falling apart, and when you think about that, interest rates in 1981, 82 were like 24%. Just imagine borrowing money to do something in your business or trying to buy some real estate to put your business in or a house. It was very tough. So it wipes things like that off because racing is purely discretionary. And I guess the same thing happened when you look at the 08-09 collapse. It did it again because it wiped out a lot of discretionary industries. And so maybe we're there. Maybe there is that precipice. But the drag racing is such a participation sport where people can come in with road bikes right off the street and they can, or have a little Sportster they're doing stuff with and bring some friends, and you can watch the pros when you're not going down a racetrack. There's not many racing types that you can do that with, so.
Well, and that's what I love too,
neat.
Because, since AHDRA kind of went away, there's still been the NHRA and, the big boys and all of that, but it's not the same as like, going to whether it's local races or nationally sanctioned stuff where, there's a broad ET class and guys are showing up to just go all out head to head and take their street bike and see what they can do. And I love that, sanctions like AMRA are coming back around and like they're, all American Motorcycle Race Association, and they're letting guys take that track with their street bike, and it's the put up or shut up thing.
Yep, no doubt.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're trying to do with the hooligan racing, right? It's gotten a little out of hand because it seems like there's a lot of purpose-built hooligan racers out there. They're not quite right off the street, But I think that was the initial concept, right?
Well, I was talking to a hooligan racer out in Iowa, Terry Baber, and his son races, and he said you'd be amazed if you actually covered the landscape of how many different hooligan races are going on around the country. It's quite large. But when you invested a lot of time and money and energy into it, he said he calculates miles that he's going to travel and how much the races pay, and that kind of sorts out where to go.
Mm-hmm.
But it is amazing. He says he has quite a few choices, but there's a lot of smaller races in smaller towns that don't pay that much money. So a guy that maybe is coming from 1,800 miles may not want to go to it, but there might be a lot of grassroots participation from guys in that region that would come. The hooligan racing to me looks like it almost needs a media push so people can see all this, because when he was explaining this to me, I had no idea this went on. All you thought about was the stuff you see on social media, but he said it's going on everywhere.
Well, and this is the thing, man. Before Roland Sands and those guys came in and made hooligan racing what it is now, through Pennsylvania and Ohio and West Virginia, there's always been at the local county fairs and at the local level, there's always been a super strong grassroots flat track. I mean, down to where generally at the local races around us, there'll be a farm boy class, and I mean those are dirt bikes. They have some that are ATVs, and I mean farm ATVs, not fast machinery. But it's just guys going out on a track and raising hell. And yeah. I think that's the spirit of it, man. Like we were just talking about this new ad campaign from MV Agusta, and how in one way it reminds us where the beginning of all this starts from, and I think that passion for turning it up a little bit and taking something to the next level and calling a guy out and saying, I think I can beat you. I think that has to be part of what we do.
Yep. And have fun doing it with your competitors, and do what you can to feed the system so it just grows on itself. And I guess in a way that's sort of what we did, because it wasn't long after we officially moved into a commercial building that we sorry about the dog there.
That's all right.
We were selling the work, in other words, at the peak of our racing deal, you could buy an engine just like what we were racing. And the other thing that we were willing to sell is the knowledge. I mean, share the knowledge and sell the components, or sell a kit, or sell an engine, because the idea behind that is that we got to have new people coming in, and if everybody was just kind of keeping it just to ourselves, and our competitors were doing the same thing, there would be no growth.
Yep.
So what do you think today? What do you think if kind of getting away a little bit away from the racing side and coming back to kind of the everyday rider, if there was one thing that a rider could do to their bike to improve its performance that they could get from zippers, what would it be?
Probably a camshaft.
All right.
That's probably what we're most known for. I mean, you're doing your tuning, working on exhaust, camshafts. Those are all the basic food groups of things that can put a lot of efficiency in the way the engine runs and make a lot of improvements to it. And of course, picking the right design is the key. Because there's so many, that's the neat thing about motorcycling. There's so many people, so many different usages of motorcycling.
Sure.
Some people do it strictly to race. Some people race and they ride on the street. Some people, I just want to tour and I want to go see the races, but I don't have any interest in participating.
Well, and that's one of the hardest things about selling performance too, is getting the customer to understand that, to really be happy with their end result is to build where you're going to ride.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. And the social media components, the YouTube, the things that, you know, when you're sharing knowledge, it's pretty powerful, and I think it gives people more access to understand that, you know, than maybe an old-fashioned catalog page, you know, because to tell the whole story, sometimes you need to fill that page and 3 more beyond, and that's a lot of text where, you know, sometimes you can do a demonstration and then show the end result in a video. It's pretty powerful.
Right on.
Awesome. Well, Danny, where can people see more about Zipper's performance?
Well, of course, the website, zippersperformance.com, and
Okay.
we do have a Facebook page, it's a struggle for us to keep it up. John does an amazing job keeping things posted up on there and stuff, because we're a really small company, and we work really hard to, you know, use our resources as wisely as we can, and to make things happen that way. And of course, in August and September and October, we're going to be out at some of the MRA races, and like you guys were talking about early in the year, it's been a busy season so far, and we haven't been able to get out on the road much, but we do plan to do that this late summer and fall, and look forward to seeing people at the racetrack.
Well, and there's you guys have followed us through our whole build of the War Pony last winter, and we finally got to Bonneville, and you know, and failed in tech because of my stupid open belt drive. But on the way to Bonneville, with the motor that Danny and his guys handcrafted for us, that bike ripped 117 in the 8th mile at Sturgis. So we're going back this year with the War Pony, and we're going to see what that thing's all about. And we're going to do one more session of tuning. We'll bring all that stuff to you live when we come down to Zippers again. And I'm pretty impressed with that already. So I got to tell you, like, that thing will peel your skull back. It's crazy fast.
Yep.
It's crazy
Yep.
fast.
And you're going to have the luxury of doing that again with at Sturgis with fuel injection.
Yeah.
Which, you know, back in my day when we raced, everything was carbureted, and I still remember to this day looking at my altimeter, and Dave would pull it out of the box there, and we'd check air, you know, in the middle of the afternoon, because that's when we were setting up and going to do practice, and it was almost 6,200 feet corrected, even though the racetrack is somewhere between 3,800 and 4,200 feet. Can't remember exactly which, but then when the night came, because back in the day before the concerts and all that, the Buffalo Chip, I mean, we always raced at night, and the air would improve to where it would be maybe 4,500 feet corrected. It's just amazing how much that ambient air changes from 95 degrees and to later that evening when you might experience a 25-degree drop in the temperature.
Yeah, we take a lot of that stuff for granted today, man. All that math is being done for us.
That's true, as well as this great day of honor and the 75th anniversary of the Normandy invasion. There's a great way of honoring those that did a lot for us, so that we live our life doing what we want to do.
Right on.
That's right. Correct. Well, thanks so much, Danny, for coming on. It's always great talking to you. And
from all of us, congratulations, man! Like, so good. I was floored when I saw Mondo get in. I was floored to hear that Ron Pa's finally getting in. And
whoa, man!
It's awesome.
Ron is such a great guy, and it is great to see some of the folks and for me it was like, wow, I can't even believe that I'm standing with these guys and gals. You know, it's like
totally deserved.
You absolutely deserve to be there, Danny. No doubt.
For sure.
Well, thank you. I know our team sure appreciates it, and we appreciate you guys. You guys do a great job out there, and I can't look forward to seeing you guys at Gettysburg. And
yeah, man.
Great.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
We will see him before Sturgis. Awesome.
Let's do some stuff, okay?
Yes, sir.
Right on. Thanks, Danny.
And not too much playing on that Christmas tree tomorrow. You got work to do.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. I'm going to pack it up and hide it on them.
All right, man. We'll catch up with you soon.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Bye-bye.
man. Just to remind you guys, Shop Talk is coming to you live from the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we got a lot going on, but we're going to take 2 minutes real quick and pay some bills for the show and then go straight to our next guest. So don't go anywhere. 2 minutes. We'll be right back with more.
Are you ready for the best 9 nights of your life? It's gonna be a long, hot summer. Ron Woodruff presents Keith Urban, Toby Keith, Disturbed, Snoop Dogg, Godsmack Sticks, Full Beat, George Thorogood, Dee Snider, Theory of a Dead Man, Collective Soul, Pop Evil, Zach Sabbath, Skid Row, and more. Plus 9 days of extreme racing action, August 2nd through the 11th. Get passes now. The Sturgis Buffalo Chip, presented by Geico Motorcycle Insurance. It's the best party anywhere.
The best party anywhere.
Hey, welcome to the Dennis Kirk YouTube channel. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. We post content every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Look, I know it's a lot, but if you'd like to stay up to date with all of the latest gear, parts, and accessories, simply click on the bell notification button. This is located on the lower right-hand side of your screen. This will ensure that you never miss a video. Dennis Kirk carries over 160,000 items in product, and that number continues to grow by the second. ATV, UTV parts? You better believe it, bud. Motorcycle accessories? Yep. Dirt bike apparel? Yeah. Look, consider subscribing. Hit that like button if you'd like. Smash it if that's something you're into. And remember, Dennis Kirk would like to personally thank each and every one of you for becoming a part of the Dennis Kirk team. We'll see you guys out there.
Okay, so thanks to Dennis Kirk and to Buffalo Chip for supporting Shop Talk. Our next guest coming up is also been a long-time friend of mine. We kind of grew up in different parts of the industry, but doing the same hustle, and got a lot of history to share. And we've been waiting to get him on the show. I'm talking about Duane Ballard, amazing talent in leathercraft, and we're gonna go to the phones right now, see if we can get Duane on.
Hello?
Duane, what's up, man? You're live with Shop Talk.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Good.
First and foremost, happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, nothing like somebody making you work on your birthday.
Yeah, sit here and panic for the last half hour because I have to talk.
Dude, you so should not. Listen, coming up to this, I was thinking about, a bunch of the different stuff that we've been in and around and stuff over the years. But I want to talk, first of all, about the first time you and I were ever really at an industry kind of formal setting together. Do you remember that?
Was it the smokeout deal?
No, the V-Twin Expo.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, and this was something so shocking to me at the time, because I was still really young and kind of impressionable about everything in the motorcycle industry, and I was getting to know a bunch of people, and you and I had started trading stuff back and forth, and Lisa, and I was a big fan of your work already, and I had taken him over to meet Danny Gray, and I was so excited to introduce this custom leather guy to who was basically at the time an icon in the industry. Danny was at the top of the hill, and man,
he was a king.
Yeah, right. And I was so blown away, he was totally not into it.
No, he was not having it that day.
But man, from that point on, I mean, just watching you over the years, like what an incredible journey. I mean, from the work that you've done, the places you've gone, the motorcycles that you've built, like, I mean, it could be summed up into an incredible career already, and you're not even done.
Oh, I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of dumb luck too. I don't know how in the heck I pulled it off.
Oh, I don't know about luck. I know you guys, you and Lisa both, and I'm obviously talking about Lisa Ballard, who heads everything up over at ShopTalk. But you guys work really hard. There's not a lot of luck there when you're putting that much into it.
Yeah, I just really enjoy it, and constantly trying to push myself, to be better than I was.
Well, and I mean, you made, I mean, this is Ken, by the way. You made a huge move, what was that, 10, 15 years ago from Maine to California? And that kind of changed the trajectory of everything, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's when, there was a million magazines based out here, and all kinds of stuff was going on out here. And it really made things take off, I had already gone full time with it way before that, but it completely changed everything when we moved out here.
For sure. That and the pink taco, right?
yeah, that goofy thing.
Dude, now that's where this all starts to heat back up again. Is we had Ricky Rackman on a few times, and it seemed like every time that he was on, he was talking about the time that he got to ride your bike. But I want to talk about that whole thing. Like, how did that whole thing with Pink Taco and Funkenstein all come to be?
The Funkenstein thing, my dad growing up he had a couple buddies that had Japanese choppers, and the Harleys are cool, but for some reason to me they just looked cartoonish and crazy. The big 4-cylinder in there. So when I decided I was going to build one from the ground up, that's what I wanted. So that's when I did the Funkenstein thing. I did it back when we were in New Hampshire. And then the Pink Taco thing came about from, I love reading old magazines from like the 60s and 70s and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And Street Chopper had a cover bike called Snow White. And I had asked, like Cuddy's Dad Bones and a couple other guys, hey, did those guys ever ride those things? And he goes, yeah, sometimes, but, not a lot. So I was like, I want to build one of those that, and ride it just to see if I could. So I had Freddie Hernandez do the frame, and then I did all the body work and everything else just at home in the garage, completely guessing my way through it, and ended it up being really good.
Dude, and that bike is an icon. It's absolutely an icon.
Fun, thanks.
I mean, you think about the things that Ricky Rackman has done in his day. And the shit that he's seen, and he can't stop talking about it. And every time he brings it up, he's like a little kid.
Oh, it blew my mind that he loved Funkenstein that much. I mean, he did a big concert out here for the Cat House deal, and he had me bring it out so he could ride it on stage with like Ace Frehley and a bunch of guys,
That's so awesome.
That's so great.
And he's a good guy. It was fun.
Nice. He is a good dude.
Right on.
So how did you get into leather? How did you know?
This is great. This is a great story. Yes, please continue.
Well, let him speak. Shush your mouth.
My mother, and she's from a family with like 8 kids, and my grandfather owned a gas station. And back in the 50s and 60s, they would make wallets and stuff for like the truckers that came in. And then when I was a little kid, we moved into this house, and in the attic, we found a giant box of leather tools. And my mom was like, hey, summer in Phoenix, that's where I grew up. It's 1,000,000 degrees. So she showed me and my brothers, just it was something to piddle with, keep us busy because we were driving her nuts in the house. And it just stuck with me, and I just kept doing it. And then, as an adult, I finally just told Lisa, hey, I'm going to see if I can do something with this, and bought some tools, and it just took off, and that's the same time the chopper thing all of a sudden was going nuts. And it just, timing was perfect, and like I said, luck, and a few people liked my stuff. So
That's
it just
awesome.
snowballed.
Yep.
What a great story.
Yeah, and I mean,
That's good stuff.
in complete opposition of a lot of times you hear people, especially whether it's in the pages of our magazine in a feature bike article or when we talk to them here, where they'll say that their mother wanted to do everything that they could to keep them away from this culture and this lifestyle. And Duane's was turning them into it.
Oh, it's funny. My mom's like the church lady. And when I was first starting out, she'd go into like biker bars and stuff and hand out cards. Because, she wanted people to use her son's stuff. It was hilarious.
Now, had you always been artistically inclined? Or did you have to work at it?
Well, my mother was. My dad was an architect and, a civil engineer and stuff. And it was just kind of something we grew up with. Like, my brother Jason owns a tattoo shop in Phoenix.
Oh, so art runs in your blood.
Yeah, it's just, it was fun. Like growing up for the punk shows, I drew everybody's like logos and some flyers and T-shirts and all that crap.
Right, that's awesome. No, you said you grew up in Arizona. How did you wind up in New England?
That's where my wife Lisa's from.
Okay.
Growing up in the short story, I was not the most brilliant teenager, just getting in trouble and stuff. So 18, I moved to Florida. And she had moved to Florida to help her grandmother, and we just happened to cross paths. And
right on.
That whole thing happened.
Right on.
There you go.
Well, listen, you were talking about punk music, and I don't even know if you know this, but you gave me one of the most memorable times in my life, and it was one year that I came out to something.
Yeah.
I forget what I was even doing in California, but you took me to a show, dude. Talk about that for a minute.
Was it Agnostic Front?
Yes, it was. It was.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And dude,
you were out here to test that Harley 1200, whatever the heck it was.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yep.
But yeah, and you showed up that night at the show, like when you arrived. It was like, here I am, and you hung out for a few days, and we did that,
and we had both. I mean, many, many times we talked about music and everything else, and I had talked about, digging Agnostic Front and Misfits and, Great Britain Hardcore and like all these bands and stuff. And when I got there, Duane was like, hey man, I really got a treat for you. And we went to this place. I swear to God, if it was 24 feet wide, we were lucky, but it was it was
a restaurant.
And dude, there wasn't a chair in the place. The entire room, like it was maybe 60 feet long, but the entire room was pit. Like as soon as you walked in the door, you were in the shit right there.
And you must have been in heaven.
Oh, it was so badass. It was so badass. Still to this day, one of the highlights of my life, man.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that was seeing them back in New Hampshire was the first show I ever took my kid to. He was like 14 years old.
Oh, it's awesome.
Nice.
Now, where in New Hampshire were you?
Nashua.
Oh, okay. I grew up just over the border in Pepperell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were there for 10 years, and I can't hang with the whole winter thing.
I hear you.
Dude, and they have winter like it's ridiculous. Like it should be a whole nother season for what happens up there. I heard
Memorial Day weekend it snowed in Portland, Maine.
Yeah, it's insanity. My daughter's still there, and I don't know how she does it, but that's where she grew up.
I'm slowly making my way south.
You're just gonna drag Chris with you?
I'm hoping. I'm hoping to get out of this winter humid thing.
And let's move on to the next question.
Chris loves change, so makes sense.
Yeah.
I know, but you picked a beautiful part of the country to move to, Lake Elsinore. It's gorgeous out there. Chris and I rode through there on our honeymoon trip a few years ago, and it's beautiful. Yep. What a great place you picked.
The back road up over the lookout where you can see.
Oh yeah, the Ortegas.
Yeah, beautiful.
I can see why you chose that for sure.
It's still kind of a small town, and if I have to go to the city, it's an hour away.
It's perfect.
Right on.
Nice. Perfect.
Yep. Hey, so one more quick story that I think would be great to share with people. Can you tell people about? Because I honestly don't even remember how it ended up that you got tattooed by Ami James at some other person's shop.
Yeah.
And
we
how not into it he was.
were at the V-Twin Expo, and we met Ami somehow. I don't even remember how we met him, but
Probably
he was like,
Sucker Punch.
he had
Yeah.
saw my work, and he goes, how do I get a free seat? And Lisa immediately blurted out, he gets a free tattoo. And I was up for it. So him and his buddy were doing some bike, and I did the seat on it. And we went down to Daytona, and, you know, he said he'd do it while we were there, but, you know, I didn't know anybody in Daytona. I kind of blew it off. If I see him, it'd be neat, whatever. And, man, he went above and beyond, found a shop, called me, made sure it was going to happen. We met up on a rainy day, and he did his deal. I mean, he killed it.
Yeah, where I don't even remember what you got.
That was the year that I got a hold of George Sedlak, the guy that had painted Evil's
That's
bike.
right.
Yes.
That's right.
And
Yep.
he came down to hang out with all of us, you know, with the Limp Nicky thing. And he drew Evil's helmet for me. So I went into the tattoo shop with that little drawing. And then Ami free-handed like a crazy rat fink monster coming out, you know, all around it. You know, it just
That's
happened to
right.
be that George drew.
That's great.
That's right. Yeah, those were fun times. I'm sure I've got pictures of that somewhere. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah, somewhere buried. That was a good. It was a good deal.
I hope there's
Yeah.
not a lot of pictures of that time, because you could rarely catch me without a fifth of Jack Daniels in my hand.
Oh, that's when we did the paintball wars and all kinds of stupid
Jesus,
stuff.
I don't know how we made it through all that, man. Remember the time? I think it was Ferguson one night got us all into a bar fight and got like 40 of us thrown out of a bar on Main Street. And the next day
Because he pulled his balls out.
which he always
all
did,
the time
which
and
he
lit 'em
always
on
did.
Fire! Come on, man.
And the security told him if he did it, they were throwing us all out. And we had a fist fight with the most cops I've ever seen in Daytona in my life. And then the next day we had our paintball wars. So we took Ferguson into the middle of the field and blindfolded him, and like 6 of us unloaded paintball guns on him as punishment. It was terrible. I felt so bad afterwards.
You should feel bad.
Because he had those kind of bruises that are like so
Oh, yeah,
purple that they
welts.
were yellow on the edges. It was so bad. It was so bad.
Christopher.
I know.
He
Yeah, those
deserved
things were horrible.
Did you ever meet Ferguson, Heather?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, he totally deserved it.
Yeah,
That's
he
okay.
deserved it.
So listen, we've said Lisa's name a couple times during the show already, but in her own right, I mean, you have an amazing woman on your side, and I know the difference that can make. And please pass along to her that in short order, we want to bring her onto the show too for an evening to talk about her story, because it's pretty amazing.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I wouldn't have done any of this without her help, because I'm not a big talker, and she's been like my biggest promoter and opened tons of doors for me.
She really has, man. She really has. She really has. Well, where can people follow more about you and see what you got coming up next?
I do Instagram pretty regular, just my name, Duane Ballard. Got my website, dbcustomleather.com, and then, you know, Facebook and all the other usual stuff.
What's the next event you'll be out that we can tell people to come and see you in person?
Born Free coming up in a couple weeks.
Right on. We got some young guys from here in Pittsburgh that are actually riding long ass 70s choppers the whole way.
Oh, those 2 kids from Steel City, right on.
And the one kid like is such a talent. Like 3 years ago, he was at one of our local bike shows, and we featured his bike, and it was this Tangerine Dream motorcycle, and it was cool. And you know, he was super young, and like you could see his passion and stuff, and his talent was starting. He showed up the other night. We had a bike show there, and he's getting ready to leave for California on it. It was amazing. Like this cat has to have gone to school to learn as much as he has in them short couple years. Amazing bike.
Cool. He's a badass riding something like that all the way across the country.
And he's a young kid too.
Well, and that's the biggest.
You gotta
thing.
be young.
They're young.
Yeah, he doesn't know any better yet.
Right on, man. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking time with us tonight, and you guys for the support, because we see every week we see you guys are hosting watch parties and like always comment and stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you for helping us out
I
with this.
appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming on. Good
Thanks,
catching
Duane.
up with you, Duane.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. Later on.
So
Later.
I did post links to his website, Facebook, and Instagram in the comments. So if you don't want to search and you want to scroll, they all three are there for your copy and pasting pleasure.
And like I was saying, absolutely one of the most talented people, and everything, like, you know, he does seats, he does guitar straps, wallets, like, and has done it for, you know, the regular guy off the street the whole way up to rock stars and royalty, man.
I think it's fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic. Rich Petoniak is in the house. Psychosource rocks. Matt Hurtado just joined us. Another very talented leather craftsman. He's incredible. He's Working Man's Customs out of
Are you going to apologize to Rich right here in front of everyone?
I already did that. You shush your mouth. I'm off the hook.
You are far from off the hook.
Hey, it's not my fault. You can blame the city of Laconia.
Well, so
Anyway.
What Heather's talking about is the social media feed coming in. ShopTalk is kind of a different thing in the fact that it's a multicast. And what that means in today's world is when we press go every Thursday at 9 p.m., it goes out to like 7 different social media channels. After the fact, you can also pick it up for your listening pleasure at work or in your car through 2 different podcast streams. One is from forever2wheels.com. That's the number 4, ever, number 2wheels.com, or through our very own Moto Shop Talk website. Please check it out. Support the show. I love how you guys leave me hanging at the end of
No,
that.
I'm sorry. I was answering
I
Matt.
thought you were.
Everybody's
I thought you were
busy.
going. I thought you were going on and support the show. Next.
So, no, I was answering Matt Hurtado, wondering if we were going to be at Rot Rally. We will not be there, Matt. We're going to be at Laconia Motorcycle Week. However, a helmet Chris painted for the Kirsch Helmets Paint Slinger Shootout is going to be there.
And I'm going to bring that up right now since you're talking about
Isn't
it.
that a great little segue?
This in
That was
the
an awesome
news.
segue.
Kirsch Helmets Paint Slinger Shootout. Actually, voting is up live now for all the artists who they have selected to do a helmet. There's some amazing stuff there, including a helmet from Matt Hurtado, all completely made out of leather.
It's beautiful.
Jody Pirwitz is on there, and my own daughter Amelia and I did this great little tribute to the Misfits, Motorcycle Misfits, and you know I go on to say a whole bunch of stuff, how motorcycle and punk music and blah blah blah. But it was a little father-daughter project that we did, and she was home from college and got a kick out of it. But there's some great stuff on here. Spacey is on there. You know, some great artists, man. So get on there and vote. Dusty Pines. There's Dusty Pines' helmet. Mark Velasquez. Look at that, our own Mark. Atomic Bob. Bob, it's not fair that you're in this. Damn it. And Jody Pirwitz. But go check them out, kirschhelmets.com, where the action is live now. The voting is up and running.
I believe it'll be up for a week. And just so you know, I think the top 3 helmets will get chosen to be an actual Kirsch helmet, if I remember correctly. The rest will be auctioned off for charity.
And I have the inside scoop on Kirsch, actually. I just talked to Donnie the other day because I know people are anxiously awaiting the actual launch of that helmet.
Yes.
It's been a few years.
It has.
And they are not compromising on quality or safety. They brought everything in house, and it looks like it's going to be maybe another couple months before they actually start to get their first real run of helmets. But I don't know if you guys have tried them on, but they are, comfortable and small, and, they're super, super strong. They're actually going to be on, I wish I had the answer to this. I think it's Fox News this weekend. They're doing a feature on them with Kathy Ireland. It is a paid promotion, so it's not like, but it is a paid promotion. And, you should check it out. If you just Google Kirsch Fox News, you'll see and it's pretty cool. It's a cool little talk with them. So
and the biggest thing though is that it's not just a lightweight, legal
DOT.
helmet, but the technology that's behind it. Like there's an inner liner that you have to go and check it out because I'm not going to speak as intelligibly about it as I wish I would. But they had a team of scientists on this, and like the type of liner that they have has never been done in a helmet before.
Dissipates the energy. Yeah, it's silicone.
Maybe
and
we
so it
can have
dissipates the
Joan
energy.
when we do Gettysburg Live. She doesn't live too far from there, I don't think.
Yeah.
But one of the things I do like about Kirsch, and I did not mean to get into an infomercial here, but most of their employees, like all the assemblers, are veterans.
Yep.
Are disabled
in the
veterans or
USA,
all
yep.
veterans.
Good
So
stuff.
that's another phenomenal reason to get a Kirsch helmet.
You bet.
Also in the news this week, Bonnier, the former publishers of Hot Bike, Street Chopper, and a few other
Cycle
titles,
World.
launch Cycle Volta with Harley Davidson as exclusive sponsor. What is this, you might ask? I'm going to turn this over to Ken Connie for a full description. Ken.
So if you go to the Cycle Volta website, you'll see that it's not a whole lot at this point. But I think the idea is they're trying to get in on the electric trend. So they've got pedal electric bikes and then also motorcycles. And that's what they are going to be focusing on. And with Harley, they're going to be obviously focusing on the Livewire and the other products that they're going to be launching that are electric. So, it's not surprising. There are already a ton of other websites out there that have content about electric motorcycles and electric bicycles. And I think they're just trying to capitalize on the knowledge that they have and what they're looking for. I don't know. The thing that's interesting is, that it says what we found was pretty remarkably, especially globally. We believe we're about 2 or 3 years away from that point where we'll really see things ramp up. So they think in the next 2 to 3 years that the e-bike and motorcycle industry is going to be huge. I don't know that that's true or not, but yeah, anyways.
Ken,
it says it's becoming pretty clear that they may not want to buy cars and they may not want to buy motorcycles. They don't seek transportation independence like other generations. E-bikes provide a specialized level of transportation that's not like ride sharing and public transportation, but doesn't require a license or a parking space like a motorcycle, making an attractive option. So here I can tell you this. So I have road tested a rad powered bike, and I have a 13-year-old, and he has taken it. Because it is the summertime. And all he wants to do is go and see his friends and get to baseball practice and do whatever. And he's like, every night he plugs it in, every day it's gone. Like he is out. He feels like he's got independence. It's not, a motorcycle, and it's not, it's a pedal powered bike, but it goes. So I don't know, man. It seems like they're probably on the right track.
And in 15 or 20 years, that'll be awesome. I'm actually starting a new publication myself. It's called How Many Idiots Can I Get Onto the Same Bandwagon?
Oh!
It's going to kind of be a niche market at first, but I think there's real popularity there, and it's going to grow fast. So
really? Gosh, I thought you were going to go right into something that you and I were talking about earlier today.
I'm sure not going to.
It'd be so fun, though. I mean, these are supposed to be candid conversations.
They
Chris,
are candid
but I guess
conversations.
We can't just shit all over everyone. Can
No. I mean, this is the thing. Like I said again, yeah, great. Here you really want to get millennials or post millennials involved in electric vehicles. Just have their mom and dad buy them, because other than that, they could give a shit less. Whoever's going to ride them to wherever they need to go, that's how you're going to get them onto an electric vehicle. If I'm taking my daughter somewhere on my electric bike, she's in. Other than that, she doesn't even have a license. She's 22.
Yeah.
She's not 22.
She's 21.
Damn near.
21.
Damn near 22.
No, not really.
I know you're holding on
fish.
for dear life.
Shut up,
For
fish.
dear life, you're holding on.
I have so much I could say about Harley Davidson sponsoring this, but we're just going to let it go.
Okay, moving on.
I mean, hey, they're sponsoring an NBA team,
Formula One
Formula
team.
car. They now have like a Rolling Stone
Stones
apparel line.
Licensed apparel.
Core.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they could just buy an ad in Cycle Source.
No, it's not. It's not even that. But anyway,
No,
moving
I
on. Motorcycle racer Daley Matheson becomes 259th person killed on world's deadliest race course. It's not with any levity that we report on this that the Alaman TT race takes another victim. Many experienced racers have succumbed to the technical difficulty of that race, and our hearts and prayers go out to their families.
It's weird, right, Chris? Because what is it, 259th contestant, right? It's been around for, 100 years now?
Yeah.
And so when or do we ever go, maybe it's... So how is this more dangerous than, let's say, a board track? I mean, other than killing spectators. Other than that part.
Yeah, let's remember the part where board tracks gave the Motordrome the name Wall of Death. I mean,
Murderdrome. The Murderdrome
yeah.
is what they call it. Yeah, the Murderdrome.
You know, Jay Allen goes to Isle of Man, I believe, almost every year, and I would love to have him.
Oh yeah,
come in.
He's there right now.
I know.
We could get him to call in.
He is.
What the hell are we doing?
Well, I think it's 2:00 in the morning there right now.
It's Jay. Come on.
True.
Oh, come on.
True.
Okay.
I would love to go
weird.
to Isle of Man.
If you guys haven't, so one of the, sorry, I was just looking at the post. I was like, oh, that is, anyway. If you guys haven't watched the documentary about the Isle of Man that's on, I believe, Netflix, it is so worth watching. It is amazing. I have no idea what the name of it is. I don't know how you'd find it.
It's
but
not
go
like,
on Netflix.
It's not like this is a news show or anything.
Let me see if we can figure this out.
Well, it just made me think about it. It's about these brothers that race, and I can't remember the Dunlops. That's who it is.
So we'll come back to that in a minute, but why don't you, since we're getting late in the hour, why don't you introduce our next guest?
So our next guest is Christian Sosa. I'm going to apologize right now because we misspelled his name. That would be my fault. We put an H in it. There's no H. It's just CR. And he... no, that's my fault. And he owns Sosa Metalworks. If you don't follow him, go right now and follow Sosa Metalworks on Instagram. And I think he's on Facebook. He does amazing metal fabrication workshops, and he has built some of the most beautiful motorcycles, fabricating tons of parts. And he is a featured builder on Lichter's What's the Skinny exhibit at the Buffalo Chip this year. So super excited to have him on.
Christian?
Hello.
How you doing, man? You're live with ShopTalk.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, buddy.
Good.
Sorry.
How are you?
Good.
Sorry we're a little bit late.
It's all right. I was hold on, give me a second. Let me just fix this. My phone's acting funny.
Sure.
Okay.
There you go. All right, I can hear you guys perfectly.
So super honored to have a couple minutes to catch up with you, man. I've been a big fan of your work for so long. Like, I mean, your work with metal is unparalleled today.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It's an honor to be on this thing today.
Well, and one of the primary reason that we're having you on is because you're in Lichter's exhibit this year. What's the Skinny? You've been in how many years have you been in his exhibit?
I think this is I think it's the third one. This will be the third.
Okay. Yeah. And what was the first bike that you had in there?
The first one was a 1940 Indian Scout that I built for a company named Suavecito, and the bike had actually been. I think the bike had been around maybe 5 years before that. So it's not a bike that I built specifically for the show. But,
sure.
Yeah, he approached me at I think it was the hand-built show where he approached me originally and asked me about the bike. So So I displayed it for the first time. I think it was the Naked Truth.
Yeah.
The Naked Truth exhibit for the very first time. Yeah.
Now, for those of you that don't know, Naked Truth was probably one of the most infamous shows that Mike Weber did, and in that show, you weren't allowed to hide any of your fabrication work with paint or coatings or anything. And you know, man, like when you walked in that room, it was otherworldly. It was otherworldly to see guys like you and Will Ramsey, and like, you know, the level of execution that you can take this stuff is ridiculous. I mean, beyond what some of us even think about.
Yeah, I was really honored to be a part of that one, because I've been a fan of Michael for a long time, and to be in that room with you know that lineup of builders was pretty special to me. I didn't really think that I was on the level of most of the guys that were there displaying the bikes that they were, but it was kind of a surreal moment for me, having my bike, especially it's sitting next to like one of the people that I've looked up to the most in, you know, from the beginning. For me, it was Shinya, and my bike was sitting right next to his, and it was kind of, you know, surreal for me. It was a really special moment, and yeah, I don't think I'll ever forget that one. It was pretty special.
That's really cool. So how did that Suavecito bike happen? Was that something that, because that's a pomade company, is that right?
Yeah, it is. So the way it came about was I used to work for this. I used to work for the shop that I don't really want to name it or anything, but I used to work for the shop that for a very long time. I was there for almost 12 years, and they got a TV show. And I was there for about a year after the whole TV, you know, I think it was 2 seasons after the show started, and that was like really not what I wanted to do. It wasn't like something that I was very interested in. I've never been into the whole TV thing. But so right after leaving that shop, I opened up my own place, and I had this bike that I built. It was Knuckle, all bare metal, that I built, and I took to a show, and the Suavecito guys at the show had just recently came back from Japan from the Moonai show, and they approached me. I'd never even heard of them. I didn't know who they were or anything, but they approached me and they said that they just gotten in from the Japan show, and you know, everything over there like really stood out. And at that particular show that I was at, they told me that everything kind of looked the same except for that one bike that I had. So they basically told me that they wanted to build something specifically for the Moonai's Japan show. And I guess kind of like the only thing about it was that I only had about 3 months for it to be, you know, built from beginning to end in order for it to be, you know, shipped and, you know, make it in time for the Moonai show. So as a little incentive, they said that if I finished it in time, they would take myself and my brother to Japan to the show and be there for it. So kind of like its debut. So yeah, I pushed real hard on it, and we ended up completing the bike in about 2.5 months from start to finish. And the whole bike is entirely handmade, but yeah, we did it in about 2.5 months. And, I mean, it was just I really had something to prove at the time, because I have been doing this for a good amount of time already. I've been at it for a little over 20 years now. And at the time when I left the other shop, nobody really knew who I was, or you know, nobody's ever heard of me or any, you know, anything, because I was kind of always the guy in the back at the shop working. So my name was never really attached to any of my prior work.
Sure.
So I really had something to prove when I started that build, and I was just trying to, you know, kind of give it my all. And I felt really, I guess I felt real honored at the time that they kind of chose me for the project without even knowing who I was, and they really trusted me. So I wanted to knock it out of the park, I guess, with that one. And it's actually been one of the more special builds to me because I really feel like I owe a lot to that bike because it put me out there in a way that I'd never been before. And, it's brought me even to this day. That bike was built in 2012. Even to this day, it's still bringing me opportunities that I just never thought that I'd really ever have. It was recently displayed at the Peterson Museum for the Custom Revolution exhibit that they had there. It just ended, but I was there for a year.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember seeing that bike there.
Well, let's talk for a minute about your metal shaping and design class workshop. I actually have your website up right now, and we're going through some pictures and stuff. And how did this come about?
So it all really came about through Instagram. I got asked by. I've been building these kind of power hammers. It's really a hell hammer, but I've been building these power hammers for quite a while now, and so I was posting videos of my original machine, and the guys from Revival Cycles sent me a message right after doing the hand build show. They sent me a message and they asked me if I could go over there and spend some time with those guys and build the machine. So I went out there and I spent about 2 weeks building a machine and just hanging out with them and kind of messing around with the machine. And so while I was out there, I was posting a bunch of pictures and videos and stuff. And I think it was just pictures. I don't know. I think they Instagram had videos. But so I was posting a bunch of pictures, and a shop in Sydney, Australia, sent me a message asking if I'd be interested in putting on a class in their shop. And so to me, it sounded really exciting. I wasn't expecting it to be a lot of people or anything. I thought it was only going to be maybe just the guys from their shop. And they ended up opening it up to the public, and it was maybe 15, 20 guys that were taking a class. It was actually 2 separate classes. I was there for almost a month, and I did 2 separate classes. So while I was out there, I was posting pictures, and a bunch of people in the U.S. were asking when I was gonna try doing a class out here. And so as soon as what really happened was one day, because this is I'm sure you guys know, but this is kind of a hard business. It's really hard to make money doing this stuff, especially the stuff that I was doing, because I'll have 2-3 days in a little tiny part, a little mount or something. I really don't do it for money. So it's a hard living. It's always been a hard living. I've always struggled with the money side of it. So really, one day I was just like really broke, and I had a bunch of machinery at my shop that I've just been collecting my whole life. So I just decided to experiment and put it out there that I was doing that I wanted to put on the class. And that same day, probably within 4 or 5 hours, I had booked the class entirely, and it was just something that was completely new to me. I didn't think it was going to get that kind of response or anything, and it kind of far exceeded my expectations. So I ended up doing the class. I kind of overbooked it. It was way more people than I was really ready for, and I really didn't know what I was doing as far as like putting on a class. And I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. But everybody had a good time, and really at the end of the class, almost every person came up to me and told me that they had a special experience during it, and it just kind of opened up a whole new world to me, and it made me want to continue doing it for other reasons than what I kind of originally started doing it for.
Right on. And that's something about working with metal. Like there's a primal connection to that creation that creation spark. You know what I mean? Like when you get past the bolt on level of custom motorcycling and stuff, like you had just said, this was beautiful. You just said, you know, the amount of time that you'll have 2 days into something. When he says 2 days, that's after how many years of being Christian Sosa. This is the kind of thing that the rest of us will probably spend a month on. So give up your dreams of ever making the kind of money like to make your hourly wage for that kind of work, because it's never going to happen, you know. But there's something about it, man, that is so gratifying and so fulfilling inside when you make something with your hands, and on any level, you know what I mean, from the absolute beginner the whole way through the master of it. It's just a really special thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the reasons for that is because it's so, like, the metal, it's so honest, you know. It's like there's so much you can. I've said this a few times before to like friends and stuff, but you can think like I can have a great day at the shop, and I can walk out of here and feel like a total badass, you know, like I'm the baddest motherfucker that does this thing, and then I walk in the next day, and that whatever it is that I'm working on, say it's a gas tank or whatever, like that gas tank, you come in here feeling like you're the baddest motherfucker, and that gas tank or whatever you're working on will put you in your place. It'll kick your ass, you know. It'll put you in your place, and then it kind of changes your mentality a little bit. It humbles you a whole lot, and you start over, or it's the other thing that I really love about it is like it's this, for me, it's like this emotional roller coaster. Yeah. You know, where like I said, at first you're making something and you're struggling with whatever it is, and then, you know, it kind of works out, or it looks right, or, you know, you're happy with it, and then something goes wrong and it puts you down, and it's like you're the worst at this, you want to quit, and then something happens again, you know, if you stick with it, and it turns out to be this amazing thing, and that is really rare. You know, it's very rare that you're ever, for every like one thing that anybody's ever seen of mine that they think it, looks good, I got 1,000 pieces of junk that are laying in my pile over here that nobody ever really sees, but it's all part of it. You know, all of those mistakes, all that big pile of trash that I have over here, that all of those gas tanks that didn't go right, that's all part of the one that did go right.
Yeah.
I think that's why I love this stuff so much, because you'll never be a master of this. Like it's a master of you. You know, like you're not in control. It's like you're riding this wild horse, and you're just like holding on for dear life. And if you don't fall off, then you're lucky. You get to do it again.
Well, there's a lot of people coming in through social media, man, with great things to say about you. Lisa and Ballard, world needs more people like Christian. He's good people. Kenny Berglund, his class is top notch, brilliant teacher. Carlos Amador being a rookie builder, this guy's really inspiring. I like his builds. Chris, no, artists see their mistakes, and I mean, there's truer words have never been spoken, man, because I know from some of the stuff that I do, like, you know, paintings that I've done years and years ago, or motorcycles that I've built, and somebody walks up and they're just like, oh, it's so badass, and they're all about it, and literally all I can see are the flaws, and I should have taken this further, I should have done that differently, you know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've also been really lucky that I've had a lot of gotten the opportunity to do this, that I've gotten to meet a lot of really amazing people like Lisa. Lisa's supported me for a long time, and she's a big part of why my classes have kind of gone as far as they have too. She's always been there to support me and repost through Chop Cult or whatever. So that, I've been really, really lucky with this whole thing, and meeting a lot of these really special people. But yeah, it's an amazing thing. I feel extremely privileged to be doing this whole thing, especially like to be living off of it,
Yeah.
So how much of your time do you spend now on your class as opposed to actually building?
The thing is that I have to try to balance it out, because I'm really busy on the bike side, on the actual like build side of things, which is what what I like really love to do. You know, it's like I'll never quit. I'm gonna die in the shop. You know, like there's no doubt in my mind. I'll die in the shop, and I'll never stop doing that. But I also love the teaching. I also like putting these classes on. Something that has changed my world entirely. I mean, it's changed the way that I think. It's really made me a different person, I guess, in multiple ways. You know, another thing also is that these classes, as much as I love teaching and showing people how to do this stuff, they also make me better. You know, they also make me sharper.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because when I'm doing these classes, I have 10 people. You know, I limit them to 10 spots now, but I have 10 people, and they're all going through a different struggle, and each one of them. And you know, I'm constantly jumping from one to the other, and I'm jumping into somebody's problem, and I have to come up with a solution. I have to figure out what it is that's going on with whatever they're doing, or what's what they're struggling with, and come up with a solution for it. So it's almost an exercise for me doing these classes. But you know, I try to do them. The last year I did one a month. I was trying to do as many of them as I could, but this year I think I'll probably do maybe 2, just because I'm getting a little bit busier. It just depends. It's a juggle. Sometimes I get burnt out in doing the classes. Also, you know, it's a lot of work. It's a whole lot of you get mentally drained. I don't know if you guys ever seen like some of the posts that I put up, but we will go from, I usually start them at 10, 11 in the morning, and there's been times that we go till 6 or 7 in the morning the following day.
Whoa.
They're pretty crazy.
Yeah.
They're draining. They're mentally and physically draining. Sometimes I just get burnt out in doing them, and I just want to get back in the shop and be entirely by myself. And then I'll go by myself for a long time, and I'll want to have people around.
Yeah.
Yep. That makes sense.
But
for sure.
But it's definitely a special experience though, doing these classes. Like even seeing the connections that people make, the friendships and stuff that people make with like there's multiple people that I still keep in touch with that are friends or really good friends with other people that they took the class that I've met like here in the shop, you know. So it's a pretty special thing.
Do you have one scheduled now?
I don't have the next one scheduled because I have a project that I'm working on right now that's really that's pretty involved, and I'm trying to like really focus on it. So I don't have my next one scheduled yet, but
God,
yeah, anytime
please,
I have them, I'll put them up.
Please don't tell me that the project you're really focusing on is the bike that you're taking to Lichter's, because I'm already nervous about even having my bike in the same room.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not very proud to say it, but I'm not going to build a new build for the Lichter show just because I just don't, I can't juggle that many things at once.
Right.
But I have a new build that I'm doing for the Haas Museum that I've been pretty focused on for the last few months. It's probably one of the most challenging ones that I've ever done. And it's like the type of project that makes me want to quit a lot. But I'm really struggling with it just because I'm trying to, I'm really pushing for it, and I'm trying to make this one of my more special ones. And I'm really deep into it right now. Like mentally, I'm really into it. But,
right on.
But yeah, I'm excited.
So where can people catch up with you, Christian? Are you on Instagram, Facebook? Do you have a website?
Yeah, I'm on it. I'm probably the worst guy when it comes to like Instagram, Facebook, or anything. I do have Instagram. I think I have a Facebook. My brother handles a lot of that stuff.
You do. There's a link to it in the comments.
I try to stay away from, especially lately, I've been trying to stay away from Instagram and all that stuff as much as possible because I really want to focus. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I know it's like Instagram to me is really special. It's giving me a lot of opportunities, but I'm trying to kind of
Well,
Gotta
man,
focus. Gotta focus. I hear you.
and I think
yeah.
I think your work is doing all the talking out there anyway. There's so many people that are like our social media is crazy right now. People giving you props from respect from Philly, and Matt Hurtado says the way Christian felt when his bike was next to Shinya's is the way I felt when mine got put next to his at the hand built in 2014. Dude is an amazing artist, and just mad respect and love for you, dude. And we all appreciate you coming on. We can't wait to see your work in Sturgis and see that room full of motorcycles. So thank you very much for your time tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. Yeah,
We appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys considering me for this thing. So
Yeah, man. We'll have to have you on again soon.
We'll see you in Sturgis.
Yeah. Anytime you guys want to swing by for this class too,
Dude, I am
you
down.
have to,
you
honey.
guys want to come by,
I am down.
always open. Yeah.
I will be out for that. I've been
Yeah.
I've been trying to figure out how I can break it to Heather that I want to buy one of your hammers.
Yeah. Nah, you seriously, you guys got to come down for one of them and just experience it. It's pretty special. I say that all the time, but it really is. Like I said.
Well, Christian, I'm going to text you our direct contact information.
Okay.
So when you schedule it, you can let us know.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll do that.
All right,
Awesome.
man.
Thank
Well,
you very
thanks
much.
again.
Appreciate you guys.
We'll talk to you
Cool,
soon.
man.
All right, thank you.
All right, man. I want to remind you guys again that we are coming to you live from the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio every Thursday at 9 p.m. with another episode of Shop Talk. Lots of stuff still to get through here. We're going to go through the last couple pieces of news real quick. Celebrating 17 years, and man, one of my favorite places on the planet, Wheels Through Time Museum, the museum that runs. If you've never been there, every motorcycle in the joint, someone will walk up and start it if you want to see it. Really, really special place. Del Waxler and all of his people have just made that into a motorcycle mecca. They're celebrating 17 years. On July 4th through the 9th, 2019 is going to be their big celebration. You can hit them up at wheelsthroughTime.com.
Oh, July 4th. Maybe we could go. It's before
Right.
Gettysburg.
Bird is in the news. Bird adding a shareable electric motorcycle to its fleet. What the hell is a shareable motorcycle, Ken?
And what is Bird?
So in cities now, they have scooters that you can rent, that you can share, and they've got bicycles that you can share, and now they're doing motorcycles, or it looks like they're trying to do motorcycles. This is an exact replica of, or I shouldn't say exact. It looks very similar to what Harley is doing, and I think Harley is planning on doing the exact same thing. That is the genesis of that scooter that they unveiled
So what came
at the
first,
X
the bird
Games.
or the
egg?
The bird.
The bird.
I got something for Bird.
Ken Conti.
I just wanted to be said that when we first started talking about all this electric motorcycle shit, I was the one that said they're going to end up like the city bicycles. Like
You
city
did.
city
You
bike
did.
city
Yep.
financial has those bikes in every
See,
town.
I think they just.
So I think
Jasmine
they're trying
Cain.
to find their legs. They're trying to find their legs. It's gonna everything's gonna shake out, but right now it's just such a shit show that people don't know what to do. It's like Uber in the beginning. Nobody knew what is that? How does that work? And people are
I love
ending
Uber.
up in ditches and getting cut up, and now it's all fine.
Jasmine Cain, the scooters have taken over Nashville.
Yeah.
Jasmine, we're so glad to see you here tonight. If you guys did not catch our live at Myrtle Beach show, you need to go back through the archives and pull that
Guess
up.
what? She's coming back on
Right?
for Gettysburg.
Right
Because she
on.
plays at 5:30 that night.
Oh, shit.
So listen, listen. Probably one of the
Heather, she goes, shit. So she has to go 5:30 to 9 to get super liquored up and then come on. Woo!
yeah, buddy.
All right.
So, real quick, I want to go over a couple things that are super important coming up in Laconia. Chad Appreciation Day ride with Ride Marshal Xavier Muriel is coming up. Hey, Mike Yorko's in the house. What's up, Mike? This is a really, really good cause. The Roadhouse champions every year. And to further that this year, they're giving away a motorcycle, not any motorcycle, not just any motorcycle, but Xavier Muriel's Providence Cycle Work custom build. raffle being drawn on Saturday, June 15th. You don't have to be present to win. $25 per ticket.
How many tickets can I buy?
You can buy a bunch, baby, because it's a good cause, and I would love to have that motorcycle
It's
and
a
turn it
bitchin'
into a freaky 70s chopper, because it would piss Xavier off. I just put a long front end on it and rake it a little bit. But
no,
I love choppers, man.
Build another one.
It's my thing.
Man. Just build another one.
It's my thing. Then it would be like, if I kept part of it him and part of it me, it would be like me and my brother.
We'll just build another one.
That's weird.
Okay.
That's
Also,
like you saying you want to redo
see your
the
next
ticket.
shirt. I see your next shirt, Chris.
What?
I love choppers, man.
Right? That's good.
Yeah.
Andy from Hot Leathers. Have
Andy,
you guys
Hot
seen
Leathers.
the
Yeah,
bitchin'?
You're watching.
Have you seen the bitchin' shirts that Hot Leathers is putting out for Cycle Source magazine?
Yeah.
Go check them out.
I know. I don't know why I don't have one. All I have is this like free giveaway one that I have on right now.
We don't have them yet either.
But we're getting some in
I
Laconia.
can't wait.
So coming up real fast is the Tennessee
too.
Motorcycles and Music Revival. Lots of great stuff going to be going down there. Great music lineup, lots of fun stuff, great riding. But the thing that everyone's talking about right now, if you've been on social media, is the BC Moto Invitational. Bill Dodge, obviously from Blink Cycles, hosts this thing up, and he's asked, it looks like 30 or 40 of his closest builder friends to come and put motorcycles out. And I understand the setting is surreal.
You're on that list.
Yes, I am. Me and Mark from Flat Broke.
Mark.
Gonna be a great time. So check them out through their social media and webpage. Next up for us, right after Laconia, we're coming back to Motoblot, baby. And not only are we coming back to Motoblot to do a bike show, we're also coming back with mini bike drag races right in the middle of Chicago, right down the street of Chicago. How sick is that? Right?
Crazy.
Motoblot's such a cool show. We went last year for the first time, and we were like, "Yeah, I'm not really sure if this is our scene." It was
our
so
scene.
cool.
It was totally our scene.
It was awesome.
Nice.
Yep.
It was awesome.
And
Just
and
like
where? When is that?
the weekend of June 22nd, directly after Laconia. So like, we'll come home, sleep for a minute, go to Chicago.
Nice.
But if
then
you're
come
in
home,
the
sleep for a
Chicago
minute.
area, come see us at Motoblot on the 22nd. It's going to be bitchin'.
Ken, where are you at next?
Oh, haven't I told you what I get to do on Sunday?
No.
We've got a baseball tournament this weekend, and as soon as we finish our last game on Sunday, I'm getting on a motorcycle and riding to California.
That's right.
And then I'm dropping a bike off, and then I'm literally turning around, getting another bike, and riding home.
I don't
so
think
I
I'd like
might
you
do
very
the
much,
double
Mr.
iron
Compton.
butt
This
thing.
is why we hate Ken.
This is going to be 25. I literally just like messaged one of my friends and was like, "Hey, you want to take your Sprinter van to California with me? I'll just put the bike in the back. It'll be so much easier." So no, and I could pick up my motor for my chopper.
Yeah, tell everybody, boy. I poisoned Ken, baby. I poisoned Ken.
I know you did.
Yeah.
I was there.
I rode something wicked. Chris is like, "Hey, you want to ride my chopper?" I was like, "Yes, I do." And then I got on it and promptly stalled it. And then I was like, "Oh, this is the shit right here." So we're building a chopper.
And he said it pretty much like that. Like, "Oh, yes. Yes, I do."
Super
on, man.
excited about that. Never had a long bike. So
I love that
yeah.
you've inspired people to build long bikes.
Yes.
It is just going to get us ready for bell bottoms and bedrolls.
Right. And that means Ken,
Everybody
we get this bike done. Ken's
ready.
gonna be on bell bottoms and bedrolls with us.
So it's kind of, our goal is it's going to kind of be like the Cannonball, but only long 70s choppers and only tents and sleeping bags.
And only broke ass chopper jockeys.
Nice. That sounds great. When are we going to do that? In the fall? Let's do it in the fall. Come on.
Yeah.
I would think. I mean, whenever
Do it
it's
in the
not
fall,
dangerous
after
to
Sturgis.
whenever it's not dangerous to cross both the Rocky Mountains and the Appalachians, I guess, because
September.
we're gonna do it from 2 points of the country into the middle.
Ooh, where's the middle?
Somewhere in
Chopper Charlie told us. I don't
Yeah.
remember. We're going to meet in the middle, have a big old field party, and it's going to be awesome.
and that's it.
Okay, cool.
Right on, man. So
That sounds rad.
I guess we're bringing this one into the station. I want to say one more time, good for the guys from MV Augusta.
You are so excited about that.
I am. I am. I'm tired of the bourgeois bullshit in this industry. I'm ready to be, like Pat Jansen said, unapologetically a Harley guy. Like, I'm okay with that.
Nice. So, I have one little thing that I did want to share. This is a little bit impromptu.
I was so going to say, Ken, it's really not that little. You're okay.
Aww. Yes, that's so sweet of you, but I can't figure out how to do it. Oh, maybe I can. And here we go.
Turned around and I said, well, I turned around and I said, and the northern light
Completely out of control.
and she said, with a tear in her eye.
Okay, so if you're wondering what the hell Ken is doing, don't you eat that yellow snow.
Watch out where the huskies go, and don't you eat that yellow snow.
That's when he went
There
right
it
up.
is.
That's
There's
when he
free
went.
Zappa for you,
That's when he
everyone.
went right upside the head of my favorite baby seal. He went whap and pow and bam.
Ken Zappaconti in the house.
Right on.
Okay, it's late. It's
Taking
past
it in
my
good
bedtime.
stride. So listen, man, we want to thank you guys one more time for all the support, all the love, all of our sponsors, including Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio for letting us in this joint every week. Thank you so much for sharing.
Wait a minute. The movie Ken was talking about was Road.
There you go.
ROAD. Sorry, there's a link in the comments.
Nice. It's so good, though. You got to watch it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Rich Petoniak reminds me about See You in Laconia. We're doing a full week's worth of Grease and Gears Garage where we're going to be doing everything from lowering a Sportster for a new rider all the way up to, frame fabrication. We're hardtailing some stuff with lead sled. Rich is going to be on stage doing a bunch of stuff.
Wait a minute. Lead sled is going to be in Laconia?
No, actually Mark, who's formerly from Lead Sled.
I was like, Pat's going to be in Laconia?
But Pat's going to have parts there, which is a big deal. Like, the fact that we're getting the parts tomorrow is amazing, but we'll talk about that another time.
Lebanon, Kansas is the geographic center of the United States.
Joey Chop's in the house. What's up, baby? All right, so listen, one more time, I want to thank you guys for letting us into your headspace. Every Thursday, 9 p.m., another episode of Shop Talk. God willing, we'll all be here, and so will you. Please be safe on your motorcycles. Be kind to each other. And until next week, when it's same chopper time.
Same chopper channel.
Blondie.
Good night.
Good night.